So this is the last part 3 of 3 as we complete the 10 God series. And for this sharing, of course, we will cover your direct wealth. And as we come to the third part, we will look into the direct wealth on the pillar. But first and foremost, let us come to recap once again into what is your direct wealth. So generally, the wealth element pertains to the element to which the day master wishes to control, desire to control. And here we consider that the two most powerful forces that a human wishes to control would be money and sex. And therefore, here for male day master, wealth represents spouse. And of course, money represents the concept of wealth. So as we deal with wealth, we deal with two types, which will be your indirect wealth and your direct wealth. And as we deal with direct wealth, this element sits very well with the ancient Confucian value, where direct wealth is money earned, money that is earned through work. So therefore, direct wealth has the philosophy that you need to earn your keep, money that you earn, as opposed to indirect wealth, which is money that you make without work. So therefore, money without work will mostly be what we call merchant, the merchant class. To be a merchant is to be an intermediary. So in a way, to be an intermediary is to be an agent, an agency business. So agency business do not own property. Agency business do not take inventory. Agency business is about intermediary. Therefore, indirect wealth pertains to jobs today, such as fund managers, hedge funds, uh, real estate agents, or brokers, dealers, merchants, to which the devil has an in-betweener, which of course will be where they match buyers to sellers and make their money. Therefore, indirect wealth is about commission, it's about your incentives, about your bonuses, about your profits. Therefore, indirect wealth tends to be speculative. And while direct wealth is about hard work, earning, direct wealth believes in fundamental value. So fundamental value believes in intrinsic value. Intrinsic means that anything that the direct wealth wishes to invest tends to have good fundamental values, utilitarian values. Therefore, direct wealth tends to find favor in ancient Confucian value because honor is in honor and integrity of a person is through hard work, through basically getting what you deserve by putting in the efforts. Therefore, direct wealth respect people who put in efforts, who are dutiful, and who are careful. Therefore, between the two of them, direct wealth will be dutiful. And while indirect wealth tends to be one that seeks fun and pleasure and try to cut corners whenever they can. So indirect wealth is not into details. So indirect wealth will be big picture people. And while direct wealth tends to be dutiful, and sometimes they tend to be micro. So the downside of a direct wealth day master would be mostly people who are very thrifty. They are very careful with their money. They are very, very tight. Therefore, direct wealth enjoys making money more than spending. And while indirect wealth enjoys spending more than earning. But both definitely have the propensity and the desire to make money. So as we look into direct wealth as an element, we consider that direct wealth is positive, and it is positive also when it receives other favorable elements such as eating God. So eating God is a positive star to have as well that produces direct wealth. That in turn produces a direct officer that produces direct resource. Therefore, these are the positive stars to which we tend to welcome, or at least what the ancient texts would consider. The direct stars are positive stars. And so now as we look into the direct wealth sitting on the pillars, we will now consider them as a whole. And we have the heaven stem. Direct wealth has a heaven stem uh, protruded to the star. So now as we look into the first part, direct wealth sitting on direct officer. The name itself would lead to that it is an auspicious symbol because both of them are direct stars, they are positive. So direct wealth sitting on direct officer would be money sitting on authority. So money sitting on authority, whether the day master is strong or weak, they represent good fortune. But of course, if the day master is very, very weak, which is unrooted or not supported, and then perhaps, if the day master is too weak, it may then not be considered to be auspicious. Because here, direct officer controls the day master, and direct wealth weakens the resource. So meaning to say that if the day master is very, very weak, the person may have its health being affected. And of course, for females, direct officer represents the husband's. And therefore, with direct wealth sitting on the husband's star would represent a very positive and harmonious marital relationship. Therefore, this combination is considered to be highly auspicious. Happy marriage. So now let's take a look into an illustration here. Straight away, as you look into this chart, what do we know? What do we have? We have a run water day master and a run water day master born at the end of summer. The day master is weak. The day master is not rooted. Therefore, here we have a weaker day master. So we have a weaker day master. And now here we have the man pillar, which is the pillar to which the day master comes into society. Ting Wei. And Ting Wei here would then represents a direct wealth sitting on direct officer. So this would be considered to be a very positive pillar for this Run Water Day Master. And Run and Ting combines together. And when they combine together, what do they form? What do they form? Wood. Fantastic. So therefore, Run and Ting combine together to form wood. To form wood. Right, right. And wood represents output. Wood represents output. So even though we consider that if this is a run water day lady, wood represents her children. So therefore, such combination is very good, very pleasant. And fire, of course, would be strong. So therefore, this person would have great propensity to generate wealth, as they mentioned, right? If the stem is protruded side by side. And moreover, this wealth is rooted. So this wealth is strong and it has its rooting. It has its rooting. Right. Now to add another dimension to it, there are of course what we call six elegance. So there are six pillars that are defined as elegance. An elegant represent an elegant and intelligent person. Usually, the six elegants would be if they're day masters themselves. But here, of course, we find that the pillar represents an elegant pillar. So the elegant pillar means they will be blessed with talents, knowledge, achievements. And so this pillar would be tremendously very useful, a very useful career pillar that can benefit the day master. in that sense. Yeah? And if you want to consider what kind of job, what kind of occupation can this day master carry out? Well, the one thing about Ting day master is that they like to teach, they like to motivate. Ting fire would like to teach and they like to motivate, especially when they are the light of the world. More so if they are born at night. No? So look into the grading of fire always depends on the hour. If this person is born at night, then this thing will be elegant. Right? It will be bright and it will provide support to the day master in generating tremendous wealth for the person. Right. So therefore, you can see that Ting Wei is one of the six elegances, and it will be very favorable to the. So this will be auspicious. The direct wealth sitting on direct officer, both for male as well as female. But of course, it will be good if the day master is not excessively weak. If it is weak, then it may not be able to control the fire. Okay, so you look on into the next pillar. We now take a look into the direct wealth sitting on 7 killing. Now, immediately we consider 7 killing to be harmful. We consider 7 killing generally to be inauspicious. However, and therefore we would consider it would be better for the day master to be stronger and the 7 killing to be weaker. So that would generally be the idea when we see day master meeting 7 killing. But of course, if 7 killing is favorable, it can also provide great financial gain and support to the person because 7 killing brings about the tendency to take risk, the tendency to be brave and courageous in meeting challenges. And of course, for women, 7 killing also represents a spouse. It also represents boyfriend or a spouse star. They can also be favorable in terms of looking for a marital relationship. So overall, it can indicate an auspicious side. Just that we do not want the 7 killing to be excessive. So now here, let's take a look into a particular chart. So what do we have? We have a sin metal day master born in summer. So the metal is void and so far it's not rooted. So this will be a very weak day master. And what do we have? We have the man pillar. And the man pillar would be in the form of Jia. So this would be a man pillar. And this man pillar, of course, would then represents fire being strong. So fire is a 7 killing. This is a 7 killing. It does provide the support to the day master. So here we do see that the day master is weak. The day master is weak. As the day master is weak, during his early years, he faces his metal luck. His pillars were metal. And so metal supports the day master, giving sufficient and adequate strength for them to control or conquer well. Now, when we look into a sin metal, what do sin metal welcomes? What elements do sin metal welcomes more? Sin metal people welcomes rainwater because rainwater washes and allows the sin metal to glitter and to shine. So therefore, sin metal welcomes rainwater. Sin metal also welcomes rock wealth in the form of the keng metal because the Keng metal can be a stronger element to chop the direct wealth. So generally, Sin metal people prefer indirect wealth because Sin metal is a weaker Yin metal, so they would prefer to cut smaller wood in terms of them. Therefore, they are more persuaded for speculative trade, indirect trade. And therefore, if they have rock wealth, then it will be very useful. So therefore here we find that there is a Keng metal here. They can provide an element of support to the day master. So overall, this can also provide great fame because killing also pushes and brings the person out to be famous. Now we take a look into direct wealth sitting on direct resource. Generally, direct resource is a positive star, a direct star, but direct wealth controls resource. So direct wealth controls resource. So direct wealth attacks resource. And so when direct wealth see resource, direct wealth attacks it. Therefore, it's not considered auspicious. Not considered auspicious because it may mean that, in a way, it may mean that wealth comes with a price. There's no free lunch, and it means that the sacrifice in terms of sacrificing the health. So what price do they pay? Health. What price do they pay? Mother. And therefore sacrificing the mother. In a way, causing the mother to have heartbreaks or affecting the health. Therefore, that's where wealth star clashes with direct resource. But generally, we do consider that it may also can be considered. That means if the day master is adequately strong, it may then be highly auspicious when it comes to prosperity, fame, and wealth. So it's not contradictory. It's not auspicious for personal relationship, not auspicious for health, not auspicious for relationships, not for so therefore there's a price. But when it comes to money, then yes. When it comes to wealth, then yes, significant achievement. So here, let's take a look into this part. We have a Sin metal lady. Sin metal lady born in spring. Metal is weak, but she sits on friend, so she's adequately strong. And here, her career pillar will be direct wealth, sitting on direct resource, which is also this year. So this year, Jia Chen, this year Jia Chen is also a direct wealth sitting on direct resource for Sin Day Master. So we can also read that. Read it as a visiting luck pillar for Sin Metal Day Master this year. So this lady will have a direct wealth sitting on direct resource. And one thing we like to see the web Sin Metal welcomes rainwater. So Sin Metal welcomes rainwater as it washes through, it will glisten, therefore it will shine, and somehow there's also a heavenly virtue on hurting officer. So hurting officer is the performer. Hurting officer is the actor, the performer, the extrovert. Therefore, here we have a hurting officer that is rooted. And the one thing, what is the one thing that sin metal people need to make money from jiawood? They need the help of they need the help of the keng metal. So they need. So basically, the need of rock wealth is the need for partnership, the need for collaborating with people more than yours. That would be the case. Now, on to the other part, I also look into the same thing 60 years back. 60 years back, we also find in 1932, 10th of April, we also have a Sin Day Master, but of course this time sitting on ox, also facing the Jiachen. But this time the Jiachen will be in death and emptiness, also facing a Ren water shirt, also facing the Ren. And so of course here we also find similar. And so these people should also be performer, actor, and so on. And through with one particular website, on this day website, I also find that there are 6 people born on this very same day. 6 people, all born on the very same day. I do not know their hours, and therefore we only know 75% of their lives. So 75% of their lives would tend to overlap in similar characteristics. The first thing that would overlap, of course, is number one, their fasa being a hunting officer which is rooted. Therefore, they can make a career out of being a performer, being an actor. And direct wealth represents hard work, represents self-made uh, kind of a person. But generally, their relationship with their marital relationship would be negative, especially for female. Female having an indirect resource is negative because indirect resource weakens the direct officer. Indirect resource weakens the direct officer and control output. And output is children. And therefore, usually indirect resource is not positive for females who are looking for a married life or family life, usually. Therefore, when we look into direct wealth, because the moment you have direct wealth protruded to the stem side by side, that would be money, success in your career. But when you sit on direct resource, you will then sit on the expense of your health and your personal relationship. Therefore, chances of illnesses tends to be very prone, especially when faces 7 Kili or 5 years. So one of them, Adrian Henry, will find that his marital relationship is quite difficult. And he met his demise in the year of the Geng Chun, which is Geng Chun is Fan to the luck pillar of the career, because Geng clashes with Jia and Chen. Sorry, okay, it's not really a Fan luck, it's just the Fan luck pillar would be, so the Fan luck pillar would be Geng Shi, which is Fan to the career pillar, Fan is a career, because the Geng clashes with the Jia and the dog clashes with the dragon into that one. At the same time, we also find another person, Henry Rhodes, an actor. Actor is hunting officer, and we also find successful career. Also died in the year of the Fan Yin to the career pillar. It comes into it as well. We also find that another one, lady that's also born on the same day, also died in the year shortly before the Geng. Right. We do see that usually that would be just considered that all 6 people, all born on the same day, share certain similar characteristics in terms of their career choices, and also similar issues. But somehow, of course, they are exceptions. They are also differences. We do find that uh, one of them had a proper marriage, Kishori, two sons, and she did pass away peacefully at a very old age. Yes. Right. Therefore, this will be just looking into the life of six people born all on the same day. So now let's move along. Let's take a look into the direct wealth sitting on indirect resource. Now, direct wealth and indirect resource are opposite polarity. When they're opposite polarity, they are often combination. Therefore, it becomes preferable. And they're preferable in the sense that they don't really clash, they combine. As they combine, the direct wealth can restrain the indirect resource, eliminating the negative effects of indirect resource. Indirect resource tends to be people who prefer isolation and are very suspicious of people. And therefore, the direct wealth, which is analytical, can then combine with the intuitive ability of the indirect resource, can then add value in being creative, being a good designer, in very good research. But somehow, of course, it is considered that people who are indirect resource are not very suitable for full-time employment. So that creates the contradiction. Because direct wealth, so when you read direct wealth, you read a career person, employee, a good employee. But when you read indirect resource, you read freelancer. You read a person who cannot hold on to a job for too long. And therefore, those are the contradictory characters or features when we have direct wealth sitting on direct resource, indirect resource. So here in this illustration, we have a strong G earth, rooted, born in summer. So we have a strong day master. The career pillar, the month pillar, would be your direct wealth sitting on indirect resource. Having direct wealth, protruded but unrooted. So here, as we can see, the question lies. So the question lies in the fact that the direct wealth represents a good employee, full-time, so full employee, a full-time worker in an organization. The indirect resource represents a freelancer who do not enjoy being tied down to one particular full-time job. So since it is contradictory, how then do we know which shall be preferred? And so, of course, as you look at this, we can find that the direct wealth is unrooted and weak. Meanwhile, as you look into the indirect resource, it is weak. So which do you think will dominate? Which do you think will overcome? So in this context, then we may see that the advice is to go for the indirect resource. The indirect resource will then be more favorable. Right. Now, not only that, has we also considered that this, just by the way, has considered that the pillar, which is your water horse, is also one of what we call the disgraceful harms. Disgraceful. Disgraceful harms tends to show, tends to manifest. That here, what do we have? We have altogether 10 of this disgraceful Hamsha, and they are normally considered to be a sign of difficult spousal relationships, and they also may be considered to be unfavorable for childbirth. So when reading the sign, these are negative or not auspicious for those seeking childbirth. Now let's move on to direct wealth sitting on direct wealth. When direct wealth sits on direct wealth, we are referring to a pure pillar. So very strong direct wealth sitting. Sorry, okay. Okay, I think that is right. So I think okay, I need to remedy this picture. I think they are a bit uh mistaken. Sorry, apologize. So I think this is the one that is direct wealth sitting on direct wealth. So what do we have here? We have a pink fire day master born in autumn. Fire is weak. This fire is partially rooted with the Ting fire here, so generally very weak. And when you see its direct wealth sitting on direct wealth, which is a pure pillar. So this pure pillar would be very strong. So the thing about pure pillar is that it means that the main chi of the month will be the season. So the direct wealth will become the season. And of course, here, metal is the season of autumn, so making this excessively strong. So a pure chi will have very strong, so therefore this is a very, very strong, vibrant energy. So as this very strong and vibrant energy, it would be a great concern whether the day master can make use of it. Because if the day master fails to make use of it, then this becomes a fake follower, and then the day master becomes servant to money. The person will become greedy. The person will not succeed in career, and it may fail. So therefore, even though wealth is side by side, but the day master could not take advantage of it. Now, over here, what element would be useful to remedy? So if let's say here, for example, the day master is weak and only partially rooted at a distance, and the wealth is definitely excessively very, very strong. There is also a bit of a harmony as it is, because you have eating God producing direct wealth. Therefore, that's very strong. So the direct wealth is very strong. So what would be the remedy? What element? What element would be very useful? Anybody? The element that would definitely be very useful would be the rainwater. Rainwater would be used because which element enjoys meeting rainwater? What element enjoys rainwater? The seed, no? The seed metal. Seed metal welcomes rainwater. Which other element also welcomes rainwater? And therefore, the rainwater becomes the useful god. The rainwater becomes the remedy. So when we see charts having problem, we want to find out what is the remedy. How do we help the person to overcome and to improve? And so one of the things is to look for the useful god. And what is the useful god here? run water. Now, if it's run water, then what is run water? What is run water to a pink fire husband? What is run water? What is run water to a pink fire dame? 7K. So basically, we may find that this particular day master, we check if you're talking to the person, if you're interviewing, you're counseling the person, then you have a feel and impression whether the person is adequately courageous, is adequately stepping out to take the necessary risk, or if the person very quiet, very introvert. Because here you have an EG, you have an eating god, which is rooted. You have an eating god. So these are introvert. They have a tendency to be more introverted. So they are less courageous. They are meek, and so they don't tend to come out. They don't tend to take risks, and so for that, that's why they become servant to money. They become servant to money. They become subversive to it and cannot control their wealth. So therefore, that's where we can also find what would be useful to control. All right. So anyway, that would be just looking into remedies if we can to overcome, especially when it's direct wealth, when it's individual sitting direct wealth. Because here for strong day master, this would be your time to make money, because direct wealth sitting on direct wealth is wife. Direct wealth is marital happiness. But of course, for individuals with weak day master, it becomes highly unfavorable. Right now, therefore, this will be the issue to see whether it can be good or otherwise. But even though it is unfavorable, you can see one is what auspicious, one is favorable. So auspicious tends to be generally the rule is all the time. But here unfavorable is situation to which the day master can try to remedy whenever you can. Now let's take a look into direct wealth sitting on indirect wealth. Well, to the male there'll be wife sitting on girlfriend, isn't it? So wife sitting on girlfriend, we may also find that there is hard work uh, uh, into one part. They can be generous and extravagant on the other part. But for weak day master, it doesn't bode very well, and only moderately auspicious. Now, actually, the other way around would be better. If you look into charts like that, if you have indirect wealth and direct wealth, this would be better. Actually, what we shared last week was that it is better for wealth to be hidden. It is better for wealth to be hidden. Better for it to be hidden. And it's best to be hidden in growth star. It is best to be hidden in growth star. It is not fantastic to find wealth to be protruded, because people will know, people will see. So it's better to make money on the quiet side. It's better to make money that no one can notice. Don't draw attention to other people. Maybe once again, this may be the old Confucian value system. The wealthier you are, the more humble you behave, the more quiet you are. Don't show to the world, don't attract robbers and a brigand. But if it has to be protruded, of course, then we can find that maybe it is better for indirect wealth sitting on direct wealth. Because indirect wealth is big picture. And it is better for the big picture to be protruded to the stem for the world to see. And direct wealth is detailed oriented, micro. And therefore, it is better for the roots to be macro. So it's nice to have a very big flower with a lot of roots that goes into the detailed micro managing the business. Because what is hidden should be the details. Because usually when you talk to people in public, normally when you address an issue to the crowd, you don't go down into the nitty-gritty petty details. Those should be hidden. That would be nice. Because if you have direct wealth sitting on indirect wealth, then what is being protruded is petty, detailed. But those are not true. Those are not real. The reality is that you are big picture. And therefore, people like that tends to make a lot more careless mistakes in their calculations. They don't tend to count and compute very well. They don't know how to manage their money carefully. So therefore, this would be where one may find that indirect wealth, sitting on direct wealth may be better. But anyway, you'll still be wealth sitting on wealth, one way or the other. Okay, so anyway, here we have, what do we have? We have a Wu Earth Day Master. Wu Earth Day Master born in winter is weak. This Wu Earth is only partially rooted on a horse. And we do find that the wealth is definitely very strong. Once again, because if wealth is the branch, then wealth is strong. Then the season becomes in. So this is a very, very strong, so-called wealth star. And so for the Wu Earth to make money, we do find that the Wu Earth is capable of doing so because it has support. Because here for this reading, there is a friend star and there's a Rockwell star indicating that there might be competitor. So this person will have a very competitive nature because the nature is the day master is weak and wealth is strong. Therefore, that makes the person tends to be greedy, tends to be seeking to control money, and yet facing another competitor, chasing after the same, indicating that a person becomes very competitive, selfish, and fearful of losing. Therefore, that might be the nature and characteristics that drive us. Once again, of course, the person sits on direct wealth. So therefore, we also find that this person may have the ability to overdo. Meaning to say that because of the fear, the person may actually overachieve or may spend too much time achieving or controlling wealth. So wealth will dominate the theme for this person into this part. Right. So those are the sign that we look into wealth sitting on wealth. So now let's move on to hurting officer. Traditional Confucian value, of course, do not find favor with the rebellion hurting officer and consider it to be unfavorable, especially when the day master is weak. Because hurting officer is exhaustive. Hurting officer are people who may talk too much, attacking authority, challenging, and therefore might invite troubles and conflict. But of course, if the person is strong, hurting officer can be favorable. if the person has a strong constitution with weaker health. And then the ability to make money, and hurting officer may produce wealth, because hurting officer is output and output produces wealth. May also find this to be positive. Right, so now as you log on into this, we have an illustration. What do we find? A Ting Fire lady. A Ting Fire lady born in winter. Fire is very big. A very distant routing can be found. A very, very far, small routing can be found, indicating a little bit of support. But then, of course, this is where for the year pillar, we have the direct wealth sitting on hurting officer. So direct wealth sitting on hurting officer becomes the main pillar for the year. So she may benefit a little bit from this direct wealth because she herself will also have support. So what supports her will be routing and also friends to support. So in this context, of course, she can find that a friend start making money, and to find that this person, again, when we deal with Ting Fire Day Master, hour is important. If she's born during the day, this is not good. If she's born during the day, it's not good because her self-esteem will be very badly affected. Because a Ting Fire lady born during the day cannot shine. People don't pay attention to her. She felt neglected. She felt that she's not being valued, not acknowledged. Her hard work is not being acknowledged. And having a friend star makes it worse. That a friend star is closer to her money than her. So making her feel that the need to be very competitive is needed. If she is born during the day. If she is born during the night, then things would be better for her. She would then be able to shine. She is born at night. Therefore, that would be the degree of strength to find. And so what does she need? So again, so if she desires a blissful marital life, then she would need to reassess her self-esteem. She need to moderate. She need to her self-esteem and moderate herself. To moderate herself. Moderating herself. Why? Why? Because Keng Shi, which is direct wealth sitting on hurting officer, is a very energetic pillar, very strong pillar. And if you do recall, Keng Shi is one of the rock wealth good blade pillar. And therefore, she would be attractive, but it would be best that she does not involve herself with sin metal males, sin metal, because eventually she will attract sin metal males, but then of course eventually not through her fault, not without her fault, not without her intention, but she may have a tendency to hurt the person. And from this reading, the hurting the person may be that she may be insecure, the feeling of being insecure. Insecurity becomes her nature. Competitiveness becomes her nature, and that leads to being very jealous. And so having an insecure female that is jealous tends to control, and therefore that will have a character that will lead to more arguments and breakups than before. So that's what she may need to regulate. All right, but anyway, that would be just looking into the pillar, direct wealth sitting on hurting. Right, now we have direct wealth sitting on eating God. Definitely very good, isn't it? because we consider eating God to be auspicious, generally favorable, and direct wealth also very favorable, and eating God produces wealth. And therefore, there is going to be a harmonious generation, harmonious flow of money and creativity. And so, for those with weaker day master, very good uh, a pillar to mean specialized skills. Eating God is about research, writing, producing, and strong constitution can then go for wealth accumulation and so on. And direct wealth, of course, will have that stable, fixed income, of integrity. And so as a result, this will bring great. And of course, for women also, very auspicious, virtuous husband, feel because in a way, eating God represents the children. So as an illustration, let's take a look into here. We have a Keng day master born in winter. And this is a direct wealth sitting on eating God. So direct wealth sitting on eating God, the ability to make good money. Then we have direct resource here, very useful, very blissful childhood, which also provides good academic performance, which leads to a very good positive pillar. And eating God would be pig. The eating God would be pig, and it produces the yield. So it produces money. So making this person very creative and very useful. But for Keng metal to be useful, what must Keng metal experience? What must all Keng metal experience before they become useful? Not just any fire, not just any fire. Ting. So Keng metal must see Ting fire to be forged. That means they must go through a baptism of fire, then they are forged to be as sharp as knives. Therefore, that's what Keng metal needs to see. And if they have it, and they have it young, that will be very good. So if you follow the think fire in the early part, that will be very, very useful to shape and to hold the day master. So to raise a Keng child, to raise a young child has a Keng metal, needs to make sure that the person goes through direct authority, go through the experience of a direct officer, to be controlled, to be disciplined. Then Keng metal will be used. If not, Keng metal will be ill-mannered, brutish, and behave like a gangster. We have a direct wealth sitting on rock wealth. And not surprisingly, rock wealth is that negative indirect star that the ancient Confucian authors would find not to be auspicious because it's the robber star, the one that has a setback, and rock wealth will rock your wealth. So rock wealth controls that. So it goes against your wealth accumulation. But again, let's take a look. We have here a pink fire person born with the month of the Sin Wei. But here, we don't find direct wealth sitting on rock wealth to be very easy. So one can only find in sometimes in storage, whereby only born during the early days of the graveyard month. How many days? How many days of the Earth branch month do we consider that the main chi is actually the storage? Before we go on to the main chi, before we identify this to be direct wealth sitting on hurting officer, you will find that this direct wealth sitting on rock. Not during the early months, usually just the first week, the first week the chi becomes dominant. Right. So generally, this would be not be considered auspicious. Yeah. Consider, and anyway, wealth affects the father. So meeting this configuration would also mean loss of wealth, loss of money. Right, last but not least, now we come on into your direct wealth sitting on friends. So direct wealth sitting on friends stuff will not be in direct conflict. Therefore, it may be in combination. So because if the day master is weak, the friend star strengthen the day master. Because friend star is not in direct conflict with wealth, therefore it may now turn to be positive. Therefore, there might be prosperity that works together. Partnership, support, fans that might provide. And then, of course, having a friend star may also make yourself attractive to the opposite sex because friend star also represents branding and celebrity. Friend star is also the celebrity star. That might also provide fame and wealth. So combined together will be very good. But if the day master is very strong and the wealth is very weak, and with friend star means excessive, then it may just mean a normal life. Okay, so let's take a look into this last sample here. We have a pink fire day master born in summer. Pink fire is peak and it is rooting in the friend star. Of course, the moment you sit on friend star, you have to be rooted. Yeah. And here born in metal, the metal is weak. So the metal is weak, white, and how somehow the metal is rooted. And so the ability to make money as it is. And usually when we consider again, I think this is the same examples again. We have pink fire and sin metal. And definitely one useful element is the rainwater. The rainwater will be a very favorable element when we have pink fire making sin metal. And here we do find the presence of the rainwater somehow hidden in the growth branch. Very good. Therefore, this also denote the a very useful positive pillar for the person to have capability of making money and seeking fame. Seeking fame. Therefore, friend star represents entrepreneur business. Therefore, this person has the chance to go into business and and form a company and grow with it. All right, the moment you have a friend star, if your friend star is strong and positive, the name of the company should include your name. That means your personal name. So put in personal name as the name of your company when you have friend star. Because friend star means your name is your brand. Your name is your brand. If you don't have friend star, then name your company something else, ABC or XYZ. But of course, if you're friend star, then the name of the company should incorporate your name. That would be very useful. And here, of course, you have a friend star, you have a direct wealth sitting on friend star. Very good, very auspicious. So a very good pillar to make a lot of money from business dealings and so. All right, so there we go. So this would be just looking into the litany of your direct wealth, sitting on all the 10 gods, and we have come to the end of this sharing and the end of the 10 series program. It has been more than 2 years from the start until now. So anyway, thank you very much for those who come for today. I'll see you later. Yeah, thank you very much.